For my presentation, I decided to go over the engineering approach to work design. I will go over the basis, the foundation, as well as the result of an engineering approach. The engineering approach to work design proposes the most efficient work design that can be determined by specifying the tasks to be performed, the workflow among the team, and the methods that are to be used. It is the most efficient since it is the least time-consuming and the most cost-efficient. It is specific to task, making it easier for the employees, and the workflow is upbeat, creating a time-efficient environment. The engineering approach is founded from the work of Frederick Taylor, the father of scientific management. He developed methods for analyzing and designing work while laying the foundation for industrial engineering. The engineering approach analyzes workers to discover the best possible outcome for maximum output while having minimum input of energies and resources. This has a work design with high levels of specification, allowing workers to aim in on a specific task, also allowing short work cycles so job performance requires less effort and focus, including reducing cost since lower skilled employees could be hired with lower wages. This engineering approach includes two kinds of work design: traditional jobs and traditional work groups. Work can be completed by one person as a traditional job. Simplified jobs with repetitive tasks and clear specifications. When the same kind of work is done with a coordination among people, it is then turned into a traditional work group. These are related and routine tasks that are reliant on each other to get the job completed. This was originally implemented into automobile assembly lines at first, especially after World War II. The strengths and weaknesses with this engineering approach. The strengths: it saves on cost. It's the most cost-efficient approach that I researched throughout the three. The efficiency is increased and easily measured since it is more simplified and specific. And it also is easily implemented and managed. It's definitely something that's going to be more easily implemented than the other two, since it's not so much driven on the employee, but rather the system that they'll be working in. Some of the weaknesses: it ignores workers' social and psychological needs. The employees aren't going to be feeling like they're having as much of a purpose compared to a motivational approach. It may not be as well used in a more present and innovative society. It may be hard to keep up to date as much, especially with the different employee systems that could be used, since most of it would have to change to make the system easier. Also, lastly, it's less fulfilling for the employees. Most people are going to feel like they're going in to do the 8 hours and then clocking out, not really having as much as a purpose with a motivational approach, where they would have more incentives or feeling like they have more of a purpose within the company. Lastly, some examples that are included with the engineering approach. Like I said before, the automobile industry was the ones that began it, and GM and Ford are very primary examples of the engineering approach. An assembly line of factory work where everyone's doing a different job, and it really relies on each other to complete a car or a truck, all based on that system. Amazon's another example. It's a very low-paying wage job that's easy to learn but very physical. Everyone does, like an automobile industry assembly line, everyone does their own part to keep the system running. And then lastly, Boeing as well, just a little bit different from the automobile industry since they'll be making planes, but also an assembly line to complete the system. So those are some examples in today's world that use the engineering approach. I hope I described the engineering approach well and presented it influently. Thank you for your time.
Created using Powtoon.